Hello and welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I am sitting next to Matt Rhodes.
Hello, everyone.
I got to figure out how to introduce you properly because it's like I'm questioning, like, are you Matt?
They can go to YouTube and see me.
That's true. That's true. That's true. How are you today?
I'm good.
Excellent. Let me have some coffee and then we can jump right in.
Let's jump right in. I think everyone listening has heard the term, you have to get uncomfortable to get better. And I mean, I think that has almost been overused in many instances. You have to get uncomfortable to get better. And regardless, even though it's probably been overused, there's a lot of truth to it. However, today we are going to jump into a topic and we're going to take a different look at it from what you're probably thinking.
Yeah. So in hearing that you have to get uncomfortable, you're probably thinking something like public speaking, maybe trying your hand at a podcast. I know that made you very uncomfortable when we first started. I know I'm not crazy comfortable speaking to large groups, but it's also part of my job. So I know that I'm going to have to get uncomfortable and do it. Or I know a lot of people are also uncomfortable posting on social media. I've coached a few different other wellness coaches, and it's a necessary evil to our business, right? To move the business forward, you have to be able to reach a broader audience. And what better way than on social media? So the advice is just to start posting until it becomes comfortable. And so that is actually not the uncomfortable that we are going to talk about today. Now, do I think that specific kind of uncomfortable is key for anything? 100%. Like, do it until it feels natural, because until you do it, it's not going to feel natural. That's the key. But see, that is not really the problem. And we're going to dig into this. It is a symptom. It is not the problem. And you can try to attack symptoms all day long, but they just keep popping up until you get to the actual problem and just solve it.
Yeah. And I want to give an example. We talk a lot about, finances and fitness on here. And so we're
my two favorite things.
Yeah. We talk about money a lot, and it's because, yes, we do like nice things. However, money translates into freedom. Anyone listening, you can lie to yourself and say you don't like money, but you all like freedom, and money brings freedom. Freedom from bad debt, freedom to order off the menu without looking at prices and worrying. But really it comes down to time freedom. That is the key, time freedom. So the example I want to give up is I grew up pretty good. I mean, I think when I was younger, when I was super young, I think my parents did struggle. They were at the very beginning of their entrepreneurship career and trying to build that business. And anyone who's done that knows what that's like in the first 5 years, 10 years, however long that takes. And I remember the first house that we lived in, and looking back, it probably was pretty run down. It was not on the best part of town. And that's when I was really, really young. But I remember as they started to get better in their career and things started to progress, we moved out of that house and we moved into a nicer house. And I was still pretty young at this time. And then as time moved on, we started adding to that house. We got a swimming pool one year. We got batting cages to practice. And those are not general things that, at least back then, that everyone had. They were not inexpensive. Now, it wasn't like we were crazy rich, but we were pushing up in that spectrum. When I say crazy rich, I know my parents wouldn't even buy me a pair of Jordans because they were $100. So we weren't like that. But we had I guess the best way to put it is I always had what I needed and more.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
Same.
I guess the picture that I'm trying to paint there is my parents worked crazy hard to provide an above average upbringing financially. Yes. Fast forward to my adult life, and I get a fantastic job that pays really good. We have businesses that do really good. And we've had that same progression as my parents did. We moved into a really nice house. Our kids have everything they need and more. Now, looking back over the last couple of years, life has been pretty damn good. I mean, you've heard it on this podcast. We've talked about it. Life has been pretty good. But I have fallen into that same trap that I constantly preach on this podcast not to do. I'm perfectly imperfect, just like everyone else. And I noticed that I fell into that. Now, I'm grateful for what we have. That's not what I'm saying. Because we worked our asses off. We worked weekends when other people weren't. Mm-hmm. When other people were playing, we were working to get where we're at.
No, we were at swim and lacrosse. That's what I'm looking over my shoulder, and I'm like, nope, that's where those weekends went.
If you're not watching us on YouTube, she's pointing to two pictures behind her. But here's the whole punchline of that story. You know, I always go say, especially the last few episodes, there seems to be a common theme. I always say, go take your shirt off and look in the mirror and get honest with yourself. And I did that about 8 months ago, but in a very different way than what we're asking people to do physically, to go take their shirt off and look in the mirror and get honest with themselves. I did that, and I realized that I got comfortable. Things were good. That job that I took was paying good, and I like it. The gyms that we have are doing good. The Phoenix Method, our online personal training company, just continues to grow. What that mirror moment was for me was, I guess the way to introduce this is we're going out to Scottsdale for a couple of days to meet with a group of business owners and do some networking. And these are very successful business owners. All good. But once we get done with that meeting, my mentor, along with our friends, said, hey, after the meeting, let's rent a private jet. Let's fly to Vegas. Let's go to the Chiefs-Raiders game. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm all in. And then it hits. This was that mirror moment for me. I have to ask off from work to take off, and I need to make sure I have enough vacation days to stretch through the end of the year. Jen is now the acting GM while our GM's on maternity leave, so she has to rearrange a bunch of stuff. And I haven't even got to the financial part. Then I got the bill for the private jet.
Gulp.
And like I said, that was my mirror moment. I don't have the freedom that I thought I might have. Now, do we have a lot of freedom? Yes. But I got comfortable in that good lifestyle that we have. I got comfortable in that, and I stopped probably pushing as hard as I would normally do. And I think we all need moments of uncomfortable moments that keep us pushing to be our best self and continue to drive us to do what we want to do. But the problem is, here is the problem. Jen said symptoms and problems. The problem is most people just let those moments pass them by. When I say pass them by, what I mean is most people would say, well, that's normal to have to take off of work. And that's normal to be concerned about something of that high a dollar. But normal isn't what we're going for. Normal isn't what you're going for, the person listening to this. Neither of us should be going for a normal life, because a normal life is a wasted life.
God, I love that. That's huge. Will you say that again?
Which part? A normal life is a wasted life.
We were put on this earth to be extraordinary, not normal.
Yeah, and I think
that's a wasted space.
Yeah.
You're squandering your gifts that the Lord gave you.
So even if you're sitting in a place like I was, we're doing really good. I'm really happy. My relationship, my wife is great. My kids are great. My finances are great. My smoking hot wife. It's not in the notes.
I'm ad-libbing.
My smoking hot wife. Even though all that may be great, is that just a normal life?
A normal life is a wasted. That's so good. Yeah. But the key, and I have an uncomfortable moment that I want to share if it fits. We'll see if it fits. It might be our next podcast.
It's not in the bullet points either.
You know what?
We'll go off script.
I don't.
We usually do.
I don't need your judgment, sir. What I wanted to say was you took action. You recognized it and you took action. You immediately knew that, hey, we're not going for normal. We're going for extraordinary. But I want to tie this into fitness before I jump back and do all my other little squirrel bits that have popped into my head. Here's the common theme with the clients that I train. Now, let me preface. I train some badass clients. I actually lifted with a client last night and she outlifted me, and new goal unlocked. I have to outlift Tracy. And she thought I was blowing smoke this morning. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I will outlift you before the month is through.
For those who don't know, Tracy's a local online client.
Yeah. We went to the gym and I was like, shit, she's doing more than me. And I'm like, crap. I tried to do her weights. I'm like, there's no way. New goal unlocked. That's why you have to get uncomfortable. My workouts had me comfortable and I didn't even know it. But I trained some badass clients, and the key is it was in them the entire time. They just need it brought out, much like what Matt has said. And the key is, or the aha moment, I'll say, they tell me how they've been waking up for so many years focused on running the household, right? I've just been so caught up in this and that, and I thought I had all the time in the world, and I wasn't really paying attention. I was doing my workouts. I was doing the things I thought. I eat pretty healthy, and all of a sudden I woke up this year, my kid's senior year, and realized I'm going to have to be front and center of a lot of these photos, and I hate what I see. That's powerful, because it's not a reflection. I'm tearing up a little. Goodness. It's not a reflection of her best life. Has she been living her best life? Maybe 80%. Was she building a good life? Absolutely. But was it the best life? Was she the best version of herself? Now she's had that mirror moment and realizes that she can go one of two ways, like Matt's example. And the first way is she could just say, well, that's normal. This is just the way life is. And I'm just going to look normal in these photos and have them captured for the rest of my life.
Which is the one way that I said a lot of people fall into this trap is they say that's normal to have to take off work and worry about finances.
I'm going to remain comfortable. And I'm going to get used to the fact that there's months that I'm going to regret. But overall, life is good. Or do what Matt did. Matt sat down and looked at exactly what he wanted. He worked with me, communicated with me to make sure we were on the same page, our goals aligned, that we were on the same page with him stepping back a little bit from the Phoenix Method, our online business, and moving me to be the face of the company. And then he got super uncomfortable by diving headfirst in an industry he knew nothing about and build a foundation right now for massive expansion. So how does this translate into a fitness example? Well, let me repeat what I just said with an added part to it. You sit down and look at exactly what you want. Design it to the letter. Design it to where there's no regrets when you look in those pictures. What exactly do you want to see staring back at you? And then you get with your significant other and you get on the same page, because that's something you need. I need to show that I don't regret this section of my life. I need to show my best self. The next thing I said is Matt got super uncomfortable by diving headfirst into an industry he doesn't even know. The added part is Matt understood his timeline.
Timeline and knowledge. Yeah. Or lack thereof at that point in time. And
also the track to gain that knowledge, how long it would take to gain that knowledge. He realized he didn't have 2 years to research and study how to get results in this industry. He needed to fast track it. He needed a map. He needed a fast map. Much like most of you listening, you don't have time because you're busy. And frankly, the time because you don't want 2 more years of trial and error. So he went out and hired the best coaches he could find to compress time. Was this all uncomfortable? A little. Was it really that uncomfortable, Matt? Once you had the map?
No.
Exactly. Is it uncomfortable to admit you aren't where you want to be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it uncomfortable while you are assessing how to get out of that situation? A little. Could it become uncomfortable financially to pay to compress time? Maybe. So we started this podcast that you have to get uncomfortable to get better. And I want to change that. I want to change it to you have to get uncomfortable to live your best life. You must get uncomfortable to live your best life. The solution to the problem that takes care of all the symptoms is to stop in your tracks right now. Stop what you're doing this very moment and realize that you are just identical to the clients I described, to the clients I train. You are a badass. You just need it brought out.
Bam.
Boom.
Love it.
I love you. What a way to end.
Let's finish that up.
Well, I hope you found value in today's episode. If you did, please share it with somebody that you also think will share our sentiments. Tag us in your Instagram stories. Give us a 5-star review. It's the only way we get bigger and better. And as always, y'all, we'll see you next time.